Hello, and welcome to Brit Reviews It All. Today, I'm actually going to be talking about All the Queen's Men. You can find it on BET Plus, and we are on season 3. And they have released so far from what I saw yesterday. It was episode 1 and 2. I didn't take any notes on episode 2, but if I can recall what happened on that episode, I'll go ahead and speak on it like a quick little summary. So starting off with episode 1, sidebar, I'm so excited for the season to come back on because they left us with some cliffhangers. So we start off where Dime walks in and sees Amp and Midnight with a woman's body wrapped up in a rug. So of course, Dime being Dime, she's not finna just act like she didn't see anything. She's not finna just run away from the room and leave. She's gonna ask questions. She's gonna want to know what happened, so on and so forth. That's Dime being Dime. I like Dime, but I know there's more to her character that we haven't really got the behind the backstory on. So we're gonna see what they do with her. So she basically comes in, she's asking questions, she's trying to find out what happened. They lie and say, oh, she overdosed. But then, that didn't go anywhere. That lie didn't go anywhere. So eventually, as she kept asking questions, trying to figure out what they're gonna do. These two fools talking about they finna go put the body in a dumpster, in the dumpster out back, and she's like, no, you can't do that. Like, this place is hot. You cannot take anything like this. You cannot take it out the back door and put it in anything. You cannot just leave it there. She's like, so I need to call Madam, and they're like, no, don't call Madam. She told us we need to handle this. To handle it, leave it alone. She's like, no. So her and Amp, they're still not getting along right now. They're still back and forth with each other. He still has a lot of hurt feelings towards Dime. And Midnight is just looking like he's just so over it. And it's almost like he's like, why did I even it had to be me to walk in here and see this going on. It just had to be me, right? So that's that. So anyway, as they are all trying to figure out what to do, who to call, what we're going to do with the body, and so on and so forth, because at this point, they really can't leave it in the building because the police is looking for, the detective, they're looking for any little thing to try to get Madam. So they cannot leave it in there. Basement, nowhere in the building. So as they're doing all of this talking and stuff, Rayshawn and Trouble come walking through there. And I'm like, why, out of all the times in the world, did they just so happen to be coming through that area? Because now, mind you, this is the main dressing room where the main guys dancers are. So the lower level dancers, they are not actually supposed to even come in that area. They just so happen to come in. They're like, oh, what the heck, whatever. And they're like, get out of here. Trouble and Rayshawn, they dip out. So there's that. So now Diamond's like, oh my gosh, like, what are we going to do? Midnight's like, all right, I'll be back. I'm going to go deal with them. Y'all hold on, and I'll be right back. So he goes outside. Now, mind you, Dime and Amp, they're in the dressing room along with each other. So at this point, they're still doing the banter back and forth with each other, to the point where she's so aggravated. She's just like, whatever. And she's getting a phone call too. So she's just like, whatever. I'm just going to go stand outside and I'll wait till Midnight comes back. And she get the call from, I cannot remember his name, but it's the lighter skinned dancer with the long hair. Slim dude with a New Orleans accent, but I think they're saying on the show he's from Texas. I can't remember his name. He comes in there and he's all like, he calls her sounding like he is faded. He trying to see how far he can kind of go with Dime on that particular night. He's talking about, I see your car, you're still at the club? Do you want me to walk you to your car? I'm trying to see, basically really trying to like come on to her. And she's just like not having it at that particular moment. She's like, dude, I saw you leave with a whole nother woman. Yeah, you went and did whatever you did with her, and now you want to come calling me? Absolutely not. So hangs up the phone. All right. And mind you, I feel like he was being a bit aggressive. I'm like, dude, you need to tone that down because she ain't your woman. But anyway, so that's that. Now, while that's going on, what's his name? Masterpiece, midnight. Midnight comes outside while he runs into Rashawn in trouble. They're still going back and forth about what they saw, what they didn't see. She, mind you, is in a car working on something, trying to fix it or something, talking about it's not. She just gotta do a little jiggle whatever to get the car started. And Rashawn is too freaking funny. He is just this scary young guy, and he's just in this world and doesn't really know what he's gotten himself into. And they're just like, I didn't see anything. And Trouble pretty much was like, look, okay, we know what we saw. It is what we saw, but I didn't see nothing. And Sean was like, I ain't seen nothing. I don't know nothing. By the time they still doing all this, midnight done came outside and was like, hey, you two, get back inside. And there's that. So they bring them back in. And he makes sure to have a conversation with the two of them, separate from Dime, separate from Imp. And just basically let them know, like, okay, so what did y'all didn't see nothing? They're like, no, we didn't see nothing. We didn't see nothing. We don't know nothing. He like, yeah, that's right. You didn't see nothing. Trying to make sure that they not going to talk, right? Okay. I mean, this is just all bad because too many people know about this scenario with this woman that is deceased in this club. They're gone. Okay. Now, as that's going on, let me see. We go over to Babyface and Doc. They are still in the jail. They have been put into the jail cell with El Fuego because Madam sent them there with the intention to, I believe her intent was for them to get rid of him. So that's why they were there. So they, doing their little thing, talking, telling him he needs to shut up, stop talking, just really trying to intimidate him. And he's like freaked out, but he's still trying to like hold his stance at the same time. It's like with the hit, because El Fuego's like, y'all my guys, we've been around each other for forever, and like what's happening right now? Like what am I missing? Poor El Fuego, he's so lost. So that is going on. Now, we forward over to Tommy and Madam. They're sitting somewhere outside in a vehicle, and she's telling him, hey, do not freak out. Someone's going to come. They're finna get in this car. Do not freak out. And when the guy gets in, and I don't remember his name either, but he's the undercover cop that she's figured out that he is undercover, so she's kind of toying with him right now to see what she can get out of him and how she can use him. So he gets in, and Tommy's like, ugh. And she's like, I told you not to freak out when he gets in the car. So she's talking to him. Basically, she's letting him know, look, this is what it's gonna be. I need you to do what you need to do. I need you to make sure, one, you need to use your resources to find out what they got on her, what they trying to do. And then also, she's decided to tell them, find out if El Fuego actually said anything, which at this point he hasn't said anything pertaining to Madam doing anything or any of the guys. So he's in the clear on that. So she's like, okay, you gonna have to prove yourself to me. So I need you to let them know, get a word to them somehow. Tell Doc and tell Babyface to stand down. And if you can't, and he's like, well, I probably won't be able to do that. She was like, well, I don't care what you got to do. At least, or move them to separate cells or something. So that's that. Now, as she's having this conversation with this dude, she's like, I mean, boy, you're like way deep in this at this point. So what? She's even offered to pay him. And he's like, well, can I get some time to think about it? She's like, okay. I really believe Madam might keep him around. I don't know yet. but we're gonna see. She might actually keep him around just to kind of have somebody on the inside. Um, so there's that. Now, jumping over to where we left off with Blue, because the last time we saw Blue, she had been thrown, I believe, thrown out of a window, or when they shot her, she fell through the window. Now, this older Caucasian lady, she's walking her dog, and she finds Blue getting up out of some little um, area. It must have been like plants or trees or something, and she's getting up out of that area. Sorry, mind you, she's getting up. She appears to not have broken anything. Doesn't look like she has any scuffs, any scratches. I don't see any, no blood coming from anywhere. She doesn't seem to have sprained anything. Like I said, broken anything. I'm like, what kind of crap is this? Like, girl, did you stay on the second floor, third floor? Like, what? Because even if you stayed that high up, you would have really injured yourself. I mean, we know it wasn't the first floor, but whatever. I'm like, okay, that's real interesting, y'all. Mm-hmm. So Blue gets up. She done threatened this lady because this lady was like, I'm going to call, even though Blue told her, I don't need your help. It's okay. I'm all right. Well, I'm going to call 911. She's like, ma'am. Blue even still had her gun, okay, in hand. But there's that. So that happened. That was so freaking weird. Now, let's see. Also, Madam, when she's done with the cops, she goes home. She pulls up into their house. When I tell you, this lady looks like she got the freaking SWAT team all up and through that house, okay? Like, she is not playing no games. She's taking this very seriously because she knows that some mess has been started. Because one, they don't know where concierge is at this moment. They basically said he has went ghost. Two, he was able to get into her club and be inside of her office without anybody in the club knowing. Blue wasn't there, which that was the first mess up, and then Tommy missed it. So she's pissed, okay? Now, coming to find out, so she basically got the Black Ops team all up and through her house, checking every area. She got snipers on the roof, snipers all over the place. I'm like, oh, Lord. But okay. Now, let's see. Blue, we catch her going back into the house. It looks a hot mess.com. Her and Tommy end up talking on the phone, and they're just talking, saying, madam, like she's freaking spooked. Concierge got her spooked. And she also tells Tommy about what had just happened to her, but it was like, okay, so it is what it is. Let's see. Now, Dime eventually ends up calling Madam because at this point they're out of thoughts of like what to do. They know this is something very serious, and if they do anything wrong, it could possibly fall back on Madam, right? So they got to make sure they take care of this, even though Madam out of pop freaking amp across the goddamn head because he's bugging. But anyway, a lot of this could have been avoided, but here we are. All right. Now, Madam is like, Dime tells her everything. Madam is just like, look, I just took my pill. When she does that and she's in bed, she's not trying to do nothing else. Like, she's like, call Blue. Call Blue and let Blue deal with it. I'm done for the night. So that was that. Now Blue gets the call. They tell Blue, Madam sent the call to come down here to the club. There's that. Now, mind you, once Blue arrives, she's did up, hair is back in place, new suit, looking clean, looking fresh. Doesn't look like she's been through anything, okay? She ain't letting them know that she been dealing with nothing. She ain't limping. She ain't, don't appear that nothing is broken on her. I mean, how? Bionic woman, okay? Now, Blue arrives. She gets the rundown. She basically says, Dime is correct. to tell y'all not to take the body and put it in the freaking dumpster because we are hot right now. You cannot do that. You won't be able to do that. So she's like, midnight, this is what you want to do. Go get your car, bring it around to the back. You're going to go put the body in there. Dime also tells Blue that Rayshawn and Trouble saw the body. Okay. So she also tells Dime, you're going to have to go and look in the system, find out who she is, and see if anybody is looking for this girl. All right. So there's that. Now, even with all of this going on, they're moving the body, doing what they got to do. You know, she gets on amps, but like, you the reason that this mess is happening, you gonna help. Go help Midnight, and you gonna go with him and go do what you need to do. Dime at this point is insisting to follow them to make sure, because where they have to go is way across town, and it's gonna be extremely dangerous and nerve-wracking to, you know, to make this move, but they don't have any other option. They have to. So there's that. Now, even though Blue told Dime not to follow them, they're gonna be all right. I already can tell just from the way that Dime is talking and keeps asking the same questions that she is gonna freaking follow them anyway. She's gonna do it anyway. Now, let's see. Back into the jailhouse, Doc and Fuego, they actually they start fighting. I don't think I recall Babyface actually touching him, but I think he did eventually. Basically, they were in there tussling. Cop didn't make it in there yet to separate them or to pass along the message, so this is happening, all right? And El Fuego, he put up a little fight. You know, I think they was a little surprised, like, oh, okay, you know, he got a little swing on him. He ain't no punk. He ain't no complete punk. He will actually fight back. He got some something with him. But eventually Doc gets the best of him and is basically putting him to sleep. As this is happening, the police actually did arrive in time, because I think they was gonna take him out because they hadn't got the message yet that Madam said to stand down. They did make it in there in time to get El Fuego, separate them, and El Fuego is taken off to the infirmary. So there's that. Now, as this is going on, Blue, she is calling Trouble, and Rayshawn told Trouble to put her on speakerphone, and she told the both of them, bring y'all tail back to the club. And Rayshawn is like, I am not going. I'm about to get out of this car. She's like, Trouble's like, no, we going. We going back to the club. Now, while they're sitting talking on the phone, Midnight and Amp, they are getting pulled over by the police, right? Now, mind you, Amp, he's pissed because he's like, Midnight, why were you speeding, dude? Like, we have a body and you know what's in the trunk. Why are you speeding? Now, as this is happening, I was just like, okay, this is feeling like a complete setup to me. As you know, they're looking for any little thing to try to get any little thing off of the Madam to be able to make an arrest, right? So they pull him over. See the police telling the driver, come to the back of the car. As that's happening, the detective is coming from around the corner. So that's how I know that they are literally looking for any little thing to try to get them. So the first thing that they started asking is, oh, okay, you know, you were speeding like, your driving was a little erratic, like, you acting like it's something in your trunk. And they was like, you need to open your trunk. He's like, I don't have no keys, basically. And I'm like, well, can they actually do that? I mean, there was nothing to actually indicate that there was anything illegal going on outside of the fact that you could have checked to see if he had been drinking or doing drugs or something of that nature. Because, I mean, I would think that you would have had to have smelled something or saw something. But for you to immediately initiate the thought that there's something in the trunk and you need to open it. And I mean, they were trying to break it open, and they're like, we can't open it, we need the key. He has the key. He's like, Now, as this going on, Dime did actually follow them. So she calls Blue, and Blue is like, stay on the phone with me. Just just let me know where y'all at. Stay on the phone with me and tell me everything that you're seeing or whatever. Now, mind you, this is the same area that they're getting pulled over. Trouble and Rayshawn are right there down the way across the street so they can see it. And so Trouble was like, shoot, I got this. Now, the next thing you know, Trouble takes the frick off, speeding, and hits the cop car and takes off. And so they all jump into their cars and is chasing Trouble. And she basically was the diversion that they needed so that Blue, she told Dom, pull up and get them and get that out of there. Now, they did move the body. Amp and Midnight got into Don's Jeep and they take off to go do what they got to do, but they leave the truck. I am wondering if there was a possibility that there could have been any hair strands, any blood drippings, anything to indicate that there was a dead body in the back of that truck, because y'all left it there. Or hopefully Blue will be able to go back, get the truck, and get it out of there and don't leave it there. I'm really curious as to what's going to take place with that, but maybe that's not an important part of what they want us to follow. So now this whole speed chasing thing is going on. Trouble, Rayshawn is freaking out. This was one of the funniest parts in the episode for me. Rayshawn is over here. He's freaking out. She's like, yeah, you know, this is why they call me Trouble. You know what I'm saying? Because she's basically like, I used to do stuff like this all the time. And she's like, so we either got to go in the water or we got to go on fire. Rayshawn's like, I can't swim. She's like, oh my God. She's like, okay. Then she's like, oh, you know what? I'm in my old neighborhood. Like, you know, we used to steal cars all the time. I know exactly what to do. I'm gonna go right over there. We're gonna go straight through this gas station and it's gonna blow this car up. And then they go. Rayshawn is like literally he's still freaking out. So they ditch the car, put the parking brake thing on the pedal to drive the car into the gas station and blow it up. So for their knowledge, the police are thinking it was a speed chase, and the vehicle lost control, ran into the gas station. It blew up with the people possibly inside, or they're going somewhere. So there's that. Now, mind you, this car chase doesn't happen, okay? And they're out of the car. They're away from the scene. And Trouble and Rayshawn are still talking. And Rayshawn was like, okay, well, dang. He was like, well, what about your car? And she just starts up. She's like, I stole that car. That's not my car. I stole it. I'm like, oh my God. So it makes me wonder that the car that was in the parking lot, you rigged it. You made it seem like you were fixing it and like something wrong with your battery. But in the meantime, you were actually stealing the car so that y'all can go home. Okay. Now, sidebar. Don't ever steal no vehicle, pretending to tell me that it's yours, and then proceed to insist on taking me home that day or night. All the while you have me riding around it with you in a stolen vehicle. Absolutely not. We're not doing that. But like they say, any person whose name is Trouble, I would absolutely stay away from them. But that's that. So that's what happened with that episode. I'm not really good. I don't think I really have too much to say about episode 2 outside of the biggest thing of it all. Madam went to go visit her dad. She finds out from the nurse that he had actually been tapping on her picture, but she never let Madam know. Which I'm starting to think that was really more so of him trying to signal that he wanted to talk to her. So when she came and visited, he ended up actually giving her some advice on what to do. Basically telling, okay, you dealing with this concierge dude who has access to the White House, the DOA, whatever, the DEA, I mean. And he's like, okay, we happen to know that the governor's daughter, she likes to party, she likes the drugs. You know, why don't you use her to get to, I think, the mayor or the governor, somebody, and you know, basically level yourself up. Pretty much that was his advice on how to handle the situation. He also let her know, we do not kill family. That is our rule. That's the rule. We do not kill family. So no matter what your sister is trying to do to you, you absolutely know you cannot kill her. And she is a little jacked up too, but she knows better. Now, mind you, he also lets her know that the nurse is, you know, taking a little advantage of him. And he said if she keep on doing it, he might just let it keep going and see what she gonna do. Um, at the very end was the funniest freaking scene for episode 2 for me. Um, the dang nurse was messing with him again, just being disgusting. Then she started to, um, the best way to say that, give him a little extra special attention, if you know what I mean. And she kept talking to him, and baby, when I tell you, he turned his head and looked at her, and she said something to him, and he spoke back, and her eyes got so freaking big. I'm like, oh my God. So the question is, one, is she gonna tell that he is actually a lot, that he's actually not out, mentally not there? Two is or you know, is she just gonna let it be and just keep going along with it, and then they kind of be nasty with each other behind the scenes? So we're gonna see what happens with that. Also, the biggest thing outside of that happened on episode 2 was the freaking thing they had all the guys come back. Now, my mom, she brought up a good question. She said, well, now with all the things that's been going on, they're in jail, this one's over here. When Amp's drunk somewhere and on drugs, when did they have time to practice these dance scenes? You know, these dance routines, because they had a whole shower dance routine that they executed. They did a very good job. Yeah, it was a lot of stuff going on there. Not for me. I'm not into all of that. You know, I'll go watch, but I ain't into all of that. I don't want y'all over me and all that stuff like that. Nah, not for me. But the ladies looked like they enjoyed themselves. Outside of that, I really don't think it was too much going on in the second episode for me. So yeah. Well, there it is. So let me know what you thought about All the Queen's Men season 3 episodes 1 and 2. I will do my best to keep up with them. They come, I think the next day, it will be next Thursday. So we'll see what happens with episode 3, what happened with that daddy and that nurse. We're going to see what happens with that. And if they're going to be able to get a little scene of what's going on with Concierge and what he trying to do. What he trying to do to Madam. So we're going to see. Thank you for watching, and you have a beautiful freaking day. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will be back with another video very soon. Bye.